Hello and welcome back to another Scotsland adventure, things to do, places to go in Scotland. Today, as you can see, I'm in a graveyard, but this is no ordinary graveyard, it's Alloway Old Kirk. Alloway Old Kirk dates back to around the 16th century. It is a ruin, and as I do a kind of tour round outside, you will see there's nothing pretty much left of it at all. It's got no roof on it, nothing like that, but it has got a great historical significance. Now, Robert Burns, the famous poet and laureate, his father and sister are actually buried in this graveyard. As I walked up through the steps, the first thing you see is the grave of Robert Burns' father, William Burns. He's also buried with his wife Agnes and his daughter Isabella, so the Burns family are buried here, even though Burns is buried down in Dumfries. Alloway itself is in Ayrshire, and it is where his wife, William Burns, and his wife first raised the family, including Robert. And William had actually attempted to maintain, look after the grounds of the kirk itself, which was already a ruin at the time. The original memorial stone has actually eroded, and the present day stone differs in wording, memorialising both of Burns' parents and includes an epitaph the poet wrote to his father. Now, Burns' sister Isabella Burns Begg is also buried in the kirkyard, along with other notable figures such as David Cathcart, who's Lord Alloway. What actually I did find out was that Robert Burns actually presented his friend, a guy called John Richmond, with a silver mounted snuff box made from the wood taken from the rafters of the old Alloway Kirk. And the snuff box apparently has the inscription on it, "Frae the oak that bare the riggin, O Alloway's old haunted biggin, frae the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel." Inside the rooms, as you can see, there's these kind of crosses on the floor. They're actually mortsaves. Now, mortsave, very quickly, it was basically there to stop or deter or even prevent theft of a deceased body from a cemetery, graveyard, or any sort of burial location. So that bodes the question, what actually happened to the rest of the kirk and the rafters and anything else? Well, actually, the rafters were actually removed and they were used to make chairs and souvenirs. A man called David Auld actually made a considerable profit from the sales of the rafters and the wood used. So the whole place was completely gutted and made to use other things. The church itself is a scheduled monument, and the churchyard is now a Category B listed building. Now, what also makes this kirk famous is that one of Robert Burns' most infamous or famous poems, Tam o' Shanter, supposedly Tam sees and looks in through the window and sees the witches dancing inside the kirk. So that was the scene that was set for quite a famous, world-renowned poem. This is actually David Cathcart's tomb. This is Lord Alloway's tomb.
Struts and stairs and
Now, as I've said before, William Burns is buried here, but he's not actually buried under the original stone. It was actually carried away in pieces by souvenir hunters. What I did find out on further research to this area, to this building, that there's multiple dates being flung about for when this building was actually either used or erected, or the area was used for worship. There is a date on one of the building arches, it says 1516, so that would indicate that that's around about the time when it was built. Though other parts, due to archaeological checks, have supposedly dated back to 1200s. So there's the kind of conflicting ideas as to when this area was in use as a place of worship. There's a stone grave slab that dates with 1200. As you can see, it's not a big place, it's a very quick tour. There's lots of stones and slabs and lots of interesting things to see. The kirk itself, as I say, is nice to see the setting for Tam o' Shanter. And yes, there's definitely a historical point of Burns' father. So I hope you enjoyed this wee tour. Not a big one this time round, folks. So yeah, if you liked it, please let your friends and family know. Be sure to share and subscribe. Again, let's get talking. What is your favourite Burns poem? Do you know much about Burns? So much to talk about. So until next time, guys, thanks again for listening and watching, and take care of each other. Bye bye.
it's common yet for all that. But man to man the shall brothers be, for